Welcome to The Fault in the Left, a series where I will examine the major faults in today's Western left. I intend for this series to run parallel to my other series, The Fault in the Right, in order to ensure balanced criticism of both the left and the right. Today, I will start the series by discussing what I have long believed to be the biggest problem with the Western left today: the dominance of philosophical theory and the selective inattention to realities that are not consistent with these theories. It seems that these days there is a theory on the left for everything: critical race theory and post-colonial theory for issues concerning race, the various forms of feminist theory for gender issues, queer theory for LGBT issues, disability theory for disability issues, and so on. Many of these theories are rooted in postmodernism and critical theory, which I've specifically criticized previously. This time, however, I will focus on the issue of redefining social justice as the fulfillment of the requirements of philosophical theory, and why this model of change is ultimately counterproductive. Attempts at encouraging the use of Latinx to replace Latino as a neutral plural noun to refer to Latinos is a good example of what's wrong with the Western left today. As you would expect, it has been overwhelmingly rejected by the Latino community because it is both unnecessary and an unnatural imposition. It is unnecessary because in Romance languages, the masculine form already acts as the neutral when necessary. Indeed, French President Emmanuel Macron made a point of this last year, during a debate about the use of non-gendered terms in French government documents. Macron is certainly no right-wing reactionary, yet he recognizes that it is not a good idea to unnecessarily change the rules of a language radically. In the case of Latinx, it is also a very unnatural imposition because it violates Spanish grammar rules and can't even be pronounced in Spanish. This means that it is just impossible that it would ever have been adopted organically by Spanish speakers. I have long argued that people are justifiably skeptical towards inorganic change because it is, by definition, not something that has been well considered by multiple sections of society. The other problem with theory-based change is that it is often anti-utilitarian. That is, it leaves society less happy as a result. This is because, unlike changes intended to alleviate suffering or solve specific practical problems, theory-based change tends to require the complete implementation of a radical set of changes across a wide range of contexts to be considered successful, because this is what would need to happen to make the real world conform to the demands of philosophical theory. Compare gay marriage and the gender-neutral language movement, for example. The legalization of gay marriage required only the change of laws specific to marriage, and it generally doesn't impact the lives of those who don't wish to enter into a same-sex marriage. It doesn't demand society-wide radical change. The fact that gay couples get to be happier and the rest of society isn't affected much means that the change is justified on utilitarian grounds, because net happiness is increased. On the other hand, if some theory tells us that all language in all contexts must be made gender-neutral in order to get rid of the patriarchal language, then to fulfill this theory, changes would need to be made everywhere, including in places most people have never thought about. Given that the vast majority of these changes would not result in making anyone happier, but some of the changes would really upset traditionalists, the net effect would be anti-utilitarian. Unlike the legalization of gay marriage, the attempt to impose gender-neutral language universally is clearly unjustifiable from a utilitarian point of view. The left's insistence on imposing changes that are unnecessary, inorganic, and anti-utilitarian to satisfy their philosophical theory has been divisive, and it has led to a backlash to many legitimate causes that has made rational, productive change more difficult. The frustrations towards activists imposing clearly anti-utilitarian changes has also led to a general increase in reactionary sentiment, which has been harvested by the reactionary populist right to win elections in many places across the West. I think the experience of the past 10 years provides a strong and conclusive case that this theory-dominant form of progressive thinking is very counterproductive, and a return to a more practical model of change is in order.